When did humans first tell a joke? At some point in history, one early human probably slipped on a rock, landed face first in the mud, and the whole tribe went silent. Then one person laughed, and just like that, comedy was born. Which means the first comedian in history might not have been clever. He might have just fallen over. But when did humans actually start telling jokes? The annoying answer is, we don't know. Because jokes don't fossilize. You can dig up bones, you can dig up tools, you can dig up cave paintings. But you cannot dig up someone saying, Gary walked into a cave. There was no ancient comedy club, no stone microphone, no caveman standing beside a fire saying, "You've been a wonderful tribe. Try the mammoth." So we may never know the first joke ever told. But we do know something almost as funny. The oldest recorded joke we know of is nearly 4,000 years old. And you might be thinking, was it wise? Was it clever? Was it about kings, gods, the meaning of life? No, it was basically a fart joke, because apparently humans invented cities, writing, farming, laws, temples, and then used this incredible new power to write down toilet humor, which might be the most human thing ever. This joke comes from ancient Sumer, around 1900 BCE. At that time, people were writing on clay tablets. They were building early cities, trading goods, making laws, organizing society. Human civilization was becoming more advanced. And somewhere in all of that, someone decided, this fart joke must be preserved for future generations. And somehow, it worked. Empires collapsed, kings were forgotten, cities turned to ruins. But the fart joke survived. That alone tells you something important about humans. We have changed a lot. Our homes changed. Our clothes changed. Our tools changed. Our toilets thankfully changed. But our sense of humor? Not as much as we'd like to admit. Because people in the ancient world were not just serious statues staring into the distance. They laughed, they joked, they embarrassed each other. They probably had one annoying guy who told the same joke every night and still thought it was brilliant. Basically, they were us. Just with more clay tablets and worse plumbing. But here's the thing. That Sumerian joke was only the oldest joke we have written down. It was not the first joke ever. Humans were definitely joking long before anyone knew how to write. Because humor does not need a pen. It just needs something going wrong, and someone nearby with terrible self-control. Imagine early humans sitting around a fire. The day has been awful. Someone got chased by an animal. Someone burned the food. Someone stepped on something sharp. Gary claimed he knew a shortcut and got everyone lost. Then one person acts out how Gary ran away from a tiny goat like it was a saber-toothed tiger. The tribe laughs. Gary does not. That is comedy. No stage, no script, no tickets. Just one human turning a bad day into a funny story. And that might be why jokes became so important. Life for early humans was not easy. There were no supermarkets, no doctors, no central heating, no phones, no quick search for, is this berry safe or will I see through time? If something went wrong, you had two choices: solve it, or become the story people told later. So laughter probably helped humans cope. It made scary things feel smaller. It helped people bond. It helped groups relax. And it turned mistakes into lessons. Because a joke is not just a joke. A joke says, we both understand what happened. We both noticed that was ridiculous. And yes, we both saw Gary pretend he meant to fall over. That shared laugh creates connection, and humans survive better when they feel connected. So comedy was not just entertainment. It may have helped groups stay together, which means the first person to make everyone laugh may have been more useful than they looked, even if they were only doing an impression of someone getting attacked by a duck. At first, humor was probably physical. Someone slipping, someone pulling a face, someone copying an animal, someone doing a terrible dance around the fire. Then, as language developed, jokes became more powerful. Now humans could exaggerate, set up a story, surprise each other, insult each other, lie for comedic effect, and eventually create the most dangerous invention in comedy history, the dad joke. Somewhere in the deep past, one early human probably picked up a bone and said, "I've got a bone to pick with you." And the tribe immediately considered leaving him behind. But bad jokes are part of human history too, because humor does not have to be perfect. Sometimes people laugh because something is clever. Sometimes they laugh because something is stupid. Sometimes they laugh because one person is laughing so hard that everyone else joins in. And sometimes they laugh because the joke is so bad that it somehow survives, like a fart joke on a clay tablet for 4,000 years. The more you think about it, the funnier it gets. Imagine being the ancient scribe writing that down, carefully pressing marks into wet clay, trying to preserve knowledge, history, culture, and also that. He probably had no idea that thousands of years later, people would still be talking about it. He may have thought he was writing down a silly joke for his own time. Instead, he accidentally gave us proof that humans have always been ridiculous, and that is what makes this topic so good. History is usually taught like it was all kings, wars, dates, battles, and serious speeches. But real history had jokes, awkward moments, embarrassing stories, people laughing when they should not, people trying to impress each other and failing, people telling rude jokes and acting like they invented comedy. Ancient humans were not boring. They were human. And humans have always found stupid things funny. Someone falling over, someone making a weird noise, someone being too confident and immediately regretting it, someone saying, "Trust me," right before disaster. That humor connects us to people who lived thousands of years ago. Because even though their world looked completely different, they still laughed at things we recognize. They still had embarrassing moments. They still had bad days. They still had people like Gary. Every group has a Gary. So when did humans first tell a joke? We do not know. The first joke was probably spoken long before writing existed. Maybe it was a silly face. Maybe it was someone copying an animal. Maybe it was one caveman roasting another caveman around a fire. Maybe it was one early human slipping in mud while everyone tried very hard not to laugh. But the oldest recorded joke tells us something simple. Humans have always laughed. Before television, before phones, before comedy clubs, before comment sections full of people saying, "Not funny." We were laughing because life is strange. People are awkward. Bodies are embarrassing. Plans go wrong. And sometimes the only thing you can do is laugh, then tell everyone else what happened. And maybe that is the real beginning of comedy. Not a stage, not a microphone, not a perfect punchline. Just one human looking at another human's terrible mistake and thinking, "This is going to be a great story." So yes, one of the oldest recorded jokes in history was basically a fart joke. And after thousands of years of human progress, technology, science, art, and civilization, we can look back at that ancient joke and proudly say, humanity has come so far. And somehow, not far at all. And that's the story in simple terms. Tiny stickman, big questions. If this made things clearer or made you think for a second, then hit like, subscribe, and come back for the next explanation. Because there's always another strange, fascinating, or surprisingly important story waiting to be explained. See you in the next one.